What is up, True Crime World? You're here with Luminol on the Wall. I'm Becky.
And I'm Bevy. What is up, Rebecca?
Oh, not much. Not a whole lot.
It's been like the first nice day in so long. Holy hell.
Yeah, we got rain the hell out.
Yeah, it was depressing a little bit, honestly. But we're back.
We got the sunshine.
We do.
Yeah.
And I went for a walk.
Me too.
I went for 2. And you did too.
Yes.
With Rocky.
And you went with little baby Coulson.
Yeah.
Love it.
And I prepared for my vacation, which is upcoming.
Yes.
This Saturday. Can you believe it?
Yes. Yes,
so
I
I'm going to
can.
Vancouver. Never been to Vancouver, which is rather shocking, actually.
Yeah, living in Canada. I can't believe you've never been.
Yeah, it's a huge city, so I'm excited.
Yeah. Although, you know what? I've only been there once. And when I did, it was super cloudy the whole time. It was like in the middle of summer, like July. Had to wear sweaters.
Oh my god.
So I pray for you, Bevy, that there is an abundance of sun for you and your cute little family.
Yeah, I want to go to the beach. But I heard it's supposed to be good weather. I mean, that could probably change at any moment's notice, but I am hoping that it's nice.
Yep, I hope that for you too. Well, on your little road trip there, you know what you should listen to?
Our podcast?
Well, sure. Sure. It's not what I was going to say.
Oh, I thought you just were like, support the podcast. But like, I have heard all of them, obviously.
Obviously, yes. No, I was going to say you should listen to the new Justin Bieber's new Swag album.
Yeah, I heard it's good from you.
No one else?
Who else do I talk to, Rebecca? I'm in my isolated little bubble, okay?
Fair.
I talk to mom, dad, my mother-in-law, That's about it.
That's about it. They're not going to tell you to listen to J Biebs.
No, they're not. But is it on Spotify is the question.
Yes, Bev. It's obviously on Spotify.
Well, remember when we were at my house and we tried to ask Google to play it and Google acted like they didn't know what the hell we were talking about?
Yeah, like we were trying to buy some weird apparel or whatever it was.
Yeah, so like I assumed that maybe it wouldn't be put on Spotify because normally Google is good with that stuff, but
your Google failed you?
Yeah, so maybe I should, Becky.
Yeah, and you should go curse out your Google for being useless.
Yeah.
And
Google. I heard that there's like a Christian song on it. And as our listeners know, apparently that's my like genre. So
it is your genre. And yes, there is. I was actually like doing a massage and I was like, why am I singing along to this? Because I was like mostly not focused on the song. And then I was like, oh, this is a Christian song. I was like, this is
from my
childhood. Yeah. So it was kind of funny, but it is not like a Christian album, but it is just so light and upbeat. It's just an easy listening. I think you guys will thoroughly enjoy it. Wow. Enjoy it. And I guarantee Coulson will love it.
Okay. That was odd.
So anyways.
Your mouth forgot how to work right there. It happens. So anyways, I will.
Right, well, good luck to us tonight on this case.
We'll be good. All right. Well, this is an interesting case, as they usually are. Becky's like, you'll be good. You'll be good. Thank God I'm not the one leading this one, taking the lead on this one.
Yeah, a good thing.
You got like a rubber flap for a tongue.
Wow. Jesus.
Oh. Yeah,
that's
going
to mock me.
But
you started.
I stopped.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
I didn't want to have to suffer through that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
No doubt.
Yeah, good luck to me.
Yeah.
But as you were saying, today's case is really interesting.
Yes, it is, because it is about one of Britain's youngest female killers.
Yes.
Which, I mean, young killers are always kind of, I I don't know, it's interesting to like analyze why they end up killing people, right? So young, because it's just, I don't think it's that common.
Yeah.
And so we're going to do a little bit of psychoanalysis when we hear about her life. Oh, yeah. And it's a female, guys.
Mm-hmm. So while I was actually doing my research for this case, there was a psychologist talking about it. Ooh. And one thing to keep in mind is that apparently women, like younger women, when they do go kill, is their crimes will often be a lot more brutal right away. Whereas younger boys who kill, they'll show like some of those classic signs like hurting animals, arson, like some of the like bad things, but they'll progress slower than a female child killer will.
Did she give any insight as to why that is?
I should have written it down. I don't remember.
Because we're a savage.
Yeah, because we're savage. We know what we want, and we just go for it. I don't know.
Sassy, bougie, ratchet.
Yes, very true in this case. So.
All right. Well, then let us share with our listeners this case. So for this case, we're going to take you all the way back to 1968 in Newcastle. And obviously, as we've kind of described the nature of this case, you could imagine that it shocked not only the UK, but the entire world. So the young female killer's name is Mary Flora Bell. And she was only 10 years old when she took her first life. So that's pretty cray-cray.
Yeah. I don't know about you, Bev. Do you remember what you were doing at the age of 10?
No.
What? I do.
You do?
Yeah,
I'm trying to think, Kate. Wait.
Okay.
Let me just think back to what grade I would have been in. I need like a marker. 10 years old, I would have been in grade 4? I think so. I think around the grade 4. I remember.
Yeah, that tracks.
Okay, good. I feel like either way, like scholastic book events, singing in the choir, playing soccer outside with my friends.
Jelly bean dances.
Yeah, super innocent shit.
Yeah. When I was 10, I personally was enjoying my blow-up chair. Yeah, you thought that was going somewhere different, but let's remember it was the 90s. Okay? And I was 10, Bev.
I don't remember you having a blow-up chair.
Yeah, I did. I loved the shit out of it, and I only
What color was it?
Blue?
Blue, okay.
Yeah,
what?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, love that thing. That was like all the rage, the blow-up furniture,
I know, it totally was. I vaguely remember this now that you're talking about it.
Mm-hmm, my 10th birthday. That's why I specifically remember. It was clearly a big memory in my life.
Double digits, baby.
Yeah, that's right.
I got the blow-up chairs. Oh, that's actually kind of sweet. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you were chilling in your room, talking on the phone. Probably. Were you talking on the phone at that age? Probably not.
I think I was still scared of the phone at that age. But
yeah.
Yeah, no, I was probably doing some beating.
Okay.
Those fun little gecko beads.
Yeah, I do remember those, Becky.
Yeah.
So our point in recalling what we were doing at 10 years old is it sure as hell wasn't murdering people, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah. So just puts it a little bit in perspective, that
what the average 10-year-old was doing
in 2000, 1998 to 2000.
I'm sure in the 60s it was slightly different because, it was the 60s, but still, 10-year-olds fairly innocent, doing normal 10-year-old things, reading books, riding their bikes.
Okay. I think people have gotten the picture, and probably everyone's been 10 before who's listening to this, so let's move it along. So we'll give you some background on Mary. So Mary Flora Bell was born May 26th, 1957. And she was the second child to a woman named Elizabeth, or as they called her, Betty Bell. Yeah, Becky, you're bursting at the seams to say she was the second child. I know you are.
Well,
you little witch.
You know, but
you're like, oh, something about those second children.
Freaking demonic. Just kidding. No, I actually didn't even I wrote that, but I didn't actually think about it until I saw your reaction when you said the second child, because you just looked like, oh, fuck. Classic. Again. Issues with the second child here.
Yeah. As per usual,
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, she was the second child, and there is something to say about it. There's a reason why there's a stigma. Let's just say that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Elizabeth, or Betty, we will call her, is Mary's mom. And when she gave birth to when Betty gave birth to Mary, this one's going to mess me up. She was only 17 at the time. So she was a young mom.
Mm-hmm.
From the start of Mary's life, it was pretty tough. According to her aunt, Isa McCricket, even at birth, Mary's mom, Betty, showed resentment towards her. Isa even recalled Betty shouting in the hospital, "Take the thing away from me." Pretty sad.
I would say so.
Obviously, she's not prepared to be a mother at 17.
Mm-hmm. And this was her second child. Keep that in mind. It's not like it was the first, so.
Oh my God. Why did that just go over my head? That is wild. Her second child at 17. Now, I'm not judging anyone who has children early by any means, but it is definitely, I don't think, the norm, especially nowadays. So to hear that, it's like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
She was so young when she had her first.
Yeah, young mother, that's for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe she already had one, and she was like, this is hard.
Yeah.
And I can attest to the fact that motherhood it's tough.
Yeah, it's not black and white either.
True that. My mother-in-law always tells me, she's like, you have one, and then the second one could be so different. You just kind of wing it as you go,
Yeah. You know the basics. They eat, they poop, they need to sleep.
They need to sleep. Good way to put that, Becky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And that's all you can count on.
That's right. So, either way, Betty's not having a good time and clearly is not attached to this baby, basically from birth.
Yeah.
So, Mary's childhood was chaotic and cruel. Her mother was a well-known local prostitute, and she was often absent from the family home, frequently traveling to Glasgow for work and leaving her children behind with Mary's father, Billy Bell. And Billy, well, he was a violent alcoholic and habitual criminal with a record that included armed robbery. Now, Billy did marry Betty when Mary was still a baby, but it's unclear if he was actually her biological father or not. But either way, he obviously was the caregiver when Betty was not around. Now, what's unfortunate is that when Betty was home, it was not any better for Mary, because Mary frequently suffered injuries under her mother's care. Once, around 1960, Betty even dropped her from a first-floor window. On another occasion, she gave Mary sleeping pills. And at one point, she even sold Mary to a mentally unstable woman through an adoption agency. Catherine, Betty's older sister, had to travel across Newcastle just to reclaim her. And the abuse didn't stop there. Betty allegedly allowed, and sometimes even encouraged, her clients to sexually abuse Mary in sadomasochistic masochistic sessions by the mid-1960s. She also participated in some herself, blindfolding Mary, restraining her, and forcing her into acts no child should ever endure. Now, for those of you guys who don't know what sadomasochism is, it's basically inflicting and receiving pain. That is. So just think about that, right? Like your own mom's doing that to you, and then other men as well.
Mm-hmm. So, you know what? I know we talk about Dr. Phil randomly and a lot sometimes, but as I was going through this, I'm not trying to like give the details too early about the crime, but like knowing that she killed someone, it's like you have to ask yourself, why wouldn't she have done this after suffering all that? Because that is horrible. And it's not like, I think there are different levels of abuse, right? And this is almost like the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
You're basically selling your own young daughter under the age of 10 to men and helping them participate in weird sexual fantasies. I shouldn't say weird, no judgment, but like on a child, it's weird.
Obviously, yeah. Like it's, yeah. Oof.
So we ask ourselves, why not would she turn out how she turns out, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, if what you know is that people that care about you hurt you, and that's just like what's normal, maybe you learn to treat people that way as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I could only assume that she's pretty angry that this has all happened to her. I mean, she's forced into it. She has no say. She has to endure this, right? It's rape.
It is.
Ugh, so terrible, Becky. That's hard to hear. So obviously, as I kind of just said, Mary's early trauma manifests in violence and in unpredictable behavior on her part. At home and school, she was known for sudden mood swings and frequent fights. The other local children were scared of her and were bullied at the hands of Mary. Teachers noted chronic bedwetting and disturbing aggression as well. She would sometimes attempt to strangle other children, and once she even tried to block another child's airway with sand.
Just by hearing that behavior, you can only imagine what she's gone through and what she's seen, right? Like, you can see, like, the direct crossover.
Children learn to behave how they're treated, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're like the mirror to your action. They will do what is done to them a lot of times, unless they're taught to do it differently. So yeah, that's just awful that she's strangling people. Like, obviously, something like that has been done to her. And it's just so sad. It's like she probably felt helpless in the moments that all of those terrible things were being done to her. So now she's doing it to kind of, at least I would assume, and I'm kind of like analyzing this maybe a little bit too much, but assume that she's doing this to other people to gain some type of control, over her own self in the way that she knows how.
For sure.
Or to gain control over her own life. Like, I can have power over you, where I can't have power in other situations, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oof. All right. So we're going to move on to the year 1967. Mary is spending most of her time with her friend Norma Joyce Bell, her 13-year-old neighbor. Now, the two of these girls together seemed to be bad news. Some concerning incidents occurred at the hands of both of them. So the first serious incident came on May 11th in 1968. A 3-year-old boy was found wandering, dazed and bleeding, near St. Margaret's Road in Scotswood. He told police he'd been playing with Mary and Norma on top of a disused air raid shelter when he was pushed, falling 7 feet and suffering a deep head wound. However, he was not sure which girl pushed him. That same evening, the parents of 3 young girls contacted police saying Mary and Norma had tried to strangle their children while playing in a sandpit. Now, police questioned both girls, but they denied involvement in the boys' fall. And regarding the sandpit attacks, Mary denied everything, but Norma confessed, and she said, Mary went to one of the girls and said, "What happens if you choke someone? Do they die?" Then Mary put both hands around the girl's throat and squeezed. The girl started to go purple. I told Mary to stop, but she wouldn't. Then she did the same thing to Pauline and then Susan Cornish. And I mean, it tracks with her record, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, now, obviously, these incidents are very disturbing, but because the girls were young, police only gave them a warning and no further action was taken. Obviously, they're not thinking anything too serious is going to come of this.
Yeah, they just think they're little menaces and being a little mean, and they're like, you're 10. What? Just stop doing it. Don't do it again.
Yeah, what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Now, another incident occurs on May 25th, 1968, around 3:30 p.m. 4-year-old Martin Brown was found unconscious by 3 boys at 85 St. Margaret's Road. The house was dilapidated and vacant. At the time, Newcastle was going through major urban renewal, or as we call it, gentrification. Old Victorian slums were being demolished and replaced with new flats and houses, and many families still lived in rundown areas awaiting rehousing. Children often played in these abandoned houses and rubble-strewn lots. The area where Martin was found was one of these kind of dilapidated, vacant places. Now, after the 3 boys had found Martin, they rushed out of the home, found a workman close by named John Howe, who they told about Martin. So John Howe rushes in and finds Martin upstairs in one of these houses. He's lying on his back, arms stretched above his head. There was blood and foam around his mouth, but other than that, no obvious signs of injuries. John tried CPR on Martin, but unfortunately could not revive him. As Hall worked frantically, Mary and Norma appeared in the doorway. They were quickly told to leave. Then the girls went to Martin's aunt and coldly said, "One of your sister's child has just had an accident. We think it's Martin, but we can't tell because there's blood all over him." After hearing this, Martin's aunt went and told Martin's mom, June Robinson, who then rushed to Martin's side, but she knew as soon as she saw him that her son was dead. Now, the autopsy could not determine Martin's cause of death. So the coroner returned an open verdict, and they assumed that it was just an accident. After all, he was found in a dilapidated home where children could be prone to accidents.
Yeah, I can't imagine, homes are run down. They're dangerous. They could break at any moment. A kid could fall. They could bang their head. Just playing, right?
Yeah, and if there's no obvious sign as to why he died, I mean, I could see why they just kind of assume, right?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
But what's weird, though, is that Mary and Norma were just, there,
Yeah, just watching through the door.
Yeah, how did you guys all of a sudden just show up there?
Yeah.
Why is trouble always around you?
Why?
Yeah,
why, Mary, why?
And, I mean, obviously they're trouble together. They don't make good choices, and that's no different on Mary's 11th birthday. She and Norma break into Woodland Crescent Nursery, ripping roof tiles to get in. They vandalize the building, tearing books, upturning desks, smearing ink, and left behind 4 chilling handwritten notes. One read, I murder so that I may come back. Another read, we did murder Martin Brown. Fuck off, you bastard. A third simply said, fuck off, we murder. Watch out, Fanny, and...
a word we're not going to say.
Yeah.
Very derogatory word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're not going to say it. And the last one was bizarre, to say the least, and kind of taunting at the same time. Now I'm going to read it verbatim, but it doesn't fully make sense.
No, it doesn't.
So it says, you are mice. Why? Because we murdered Martin. Go Brown. You better look out there. Our murders about by Fanny and Ald. Derogatory term, you screws. So, I mean, like, you can kind of get the gist, but at the same time, there's some things that are added that are like, what the fuck are they trying to say?
Yeah,
in its entirety.
I also just, like, think of the language used as, I guess it was her birthday, so she was 11 now, but, like, the words and how she wrote them, it was like, I couldn't even imagine writing anything like that when I was 10 or 11. No. Like, it blows my mind. Like, it's so just, like, harsh and, like, foul.
Yeah, totally is.
Yeah. Brutal.
Well, Becky, she is 11 at this point.
A little older.
I'm just kidding.
That reminds me of, like, Sound of Music. Like, you are 16, going on 17. I know that I'm naive. You know, it's like 17, you're a little older and wiser. But it's like a year. It's nothing much.
Yeah, it's not much for sure.
At all.
It's still fucking foul and weird.
Yeah.
So, what's kind of shocking, actually, is that the police dismissed the notes as just a childish prank. Which I guess my hindsight is, like, 20/20 at this point. Mm-hmm. But also, like, it's someone admitting to murder. So maybe it could be looked into as something a little more serious than a prank.
Yeah. Maybe a little clout behind those words. I don't know.
Yeah. You never know, right?
Yeah.
Now, we know that Mary and Norma were the ones who wrote that. We also know Mary and Norma showed up at the crime scene or the death of Martin. So their next actions are kind of odd. Now, on May 29th, just before Martin's funeral, Mary and Norma went to his mother's house. They knocked on the door and asked to see Martin. When June told them, "You can't see him, he's dead," Mary chillingly replied, "Oh, I know he's dead. I want to see him in his coffin."
Like, if that's not creepy, I don't know what is.
Yeah. Why would you go to someone's house and, like, ask that?
For sure. I could understand maybe if she was, like, concerned for Martin and being like, hey, I just want to see him. Like, if she truly had no idea, like, if she was, you know, an innocent bystander who just happened to see him through the doorway. But that response, "Oh, I know he's dead," like, how morbid. The fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost as though she's proud of something she did and wants to see her handiwork, you know?
It does seem like that, doesn't it?
Yeah. Super creepy.
You know, if I was that mom, if I was June, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. I just want to, like, I probably never want to kick a child so much in my life as in that moment. Be like, what is wrong with you? Get out of here. Like, I'd want to just be like, get off my doorstep. Ah.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And also she's grieving and hurting and, like, so many other emotions, too, that might just push me over the edge.
Yeah. Now, I don't condone punching children, but in this moment, maybe I'd punch one.
You don't know what you'd turn to. Your grief might just take over.
I'm just kidding, but yeah, super weird.
Yeah, it is.
Mary, you're being weird. Now, just 2 months after this incident, on July 31st, 1968, 3-year-old Brian Howe disappeared while playing outside near his home in Scotswood. As the sun had begun to set on that afternoon, Brian had not come home. His family realized something was terribly wrong. Neighbors searched the streets, calling his name, checking alleys, backyards, everywhere they could think of. And Mary also joined in on the search. At one point, she approached Brian's sister, Patsy, and said casually, "Are you looking for Brian? He's behind the blocks, you know, where the concrete blocks are." At the time, Patsy didn't think much of it, but later, those words would haunt her. Because that evening, Brian's body was found in the same area that Martin's was. What the police found was disgusting. Brian had been strangled. But this time, the killer had gone further than that. There were small puncture marks on his legs. Patches of his hair had been cut off, and carved into his abdomen was the letter M and N, etched with a sharp blade or scissors. He also had wounds to his genitals. Nearby, police found a broken pair of scissors, confirming what they already feared, that this was no accident. This was, in fact, deliberate. And detectives, just from what they see, they know that this is the work of a deeply disturbed human being. Now, if it's not obvious to you guys already, which I'm sure it is, I cannot believe that Mary and Norma, etched their initials into this child.
Yeah, that's
this kid is
pretty
3
bold.
years old.
Yeah.
A 3-year-old. They're so little. So cute.
Innocent.
It's my God.
They're literally leaving a signature.
Yeah.
I did this.
Totally.
Yeah.
I just can't even handle that. Oof. And also the wounds to the genitals. It just, knowing the history of Mary and the sadomasochistic things that she went through, this does make a lot of sense, but it's really hard to hear.
Mm-hmm. In one report I read, or one article, it also stated after he was dead that there had been some evidence of sexual foul play. However, I did not hear that read that in every article or podcast I've listened to. So keep that in mind, that there's just a probability that it could have happened. And with her background, with Mary's background, it's not out of the question, right?
Yeah.
So this poor baby went through so much.
Oh my God. I am so emotional hearing this. I just think of my baby. He's 3 months. This baby was 3 years. That's just not far away from where my baby is currently.
It's kind of far away.
3 years is not that in the grand scheme of things. That's not that far.
No, but regardless, they kind of still have that same helplessness. They, if it's someone they know from the community, they maybe trusted her to follow her. There's so many things that you can relate back to your cute little innocent baby still, and imagining him being even just a couple years older and going through this. It's heartbreaking, right?
Yeah. Oh God, I'm trying to keep it together right now.
I know you are.
I'm a little bit more sensitive, I think, since having a baby. Okay. I will pull it together, but my God. The relatability of it now is a little bit different.
For sure.
So it hits in a different way, I think. Although I always felt like it was sad. It just, I can really...
You have your own baby.
Mm-hmm.
And that
never
love,
want him to get hurt.
And that love you have for him is it just makes it really real.
And that somebody's poor baby went through that. Oh my God.
Heartbreaking for sure, Bevy.
Seriously. Okay, so obviously we're sitting from a perspective where we really kind of know who did this, but the police don't. So in the days that followed, the police canvassed the neighborhood, interviewing dozens of local children. Over and over, one name kept coming up: Mary Bell. It seemed that Mary couldn't stay away from the investigation either. She hung around police officers at the crime scene, eavesdropped on conversations, and inserted herself into discussions about Brian's murder. In one police interview, she casually asked, "Brian didn't have any scissors, did he?" Now, the thing is, at the time, the police had never mentioned scissors publicly, so that was a detail that only the killer would have known. And it was said by Detective Chief Inspector James Dobson that Mary Bell stood out right away. She was cold, detached, and almost proud. Which, if we think back to what she did to Martin's mother, about being like, "Oh, I know he's dead. Let me see him in that casket." Yeah. So she did. Yeah, tracks. She was obviously proud of what she's been doing to these poor boys. And it wasn't long into the investigation when the breakthrough came through. During questioning, Mary's friend Norma finally cracked. She told detectives that Mary had led Brian away that day, strangled him, and then later returned to his body with scissors, cutting his hair and carving the M into his stomach and mutilating his privates. Norma said Mary, in quotations, seemed to go all funny, pushing Brian into the grass and attempting to strangle him before stating to her, "My hands are getting thick. Take over." She had then run from the scene, leaving Mary alone with Brian. She didn't help. She was too frightened, but she admitted she was there. On top of that, a forensic examination of clothing owned by both girls revealed the gray fibers discovered upon Brian's body were a precise match to a woolen dress owned by Mary. And the maroon fibers that they found on Brian's shoes were a precise match to a skirt owned by Norma. To top it off, the same gray fibers found on Brian had also been found on the body of Martin Brown, who had died 2 months prior. So with that, police had what they needed. And on August 4th, 1968, police arrested Mary Bell and Norma Bell. When Mary was officially charged, her response was chillingly casual. She said, "That's all right by me."
Wow, that almost makes me, like, just hearing that, it makes me think that she was like, "I already know what the consequences are, but I got to kill someone and I'm fine with my consequences because I got to do what I wanted." That's how it, like, makes me view her with that response, you know?
Yep. Mary don't give a fuck, Becky. Now, Mary's trial began in December 1968 in Newcastle. She was only 11 years old at the time. She was accused of strangling and killing Martin Brown and Brian Howe. The courtroom was packed. Locals almost could not believe that a 10-year-old girl could have committed these crimes. So they had to see it for themselves.
Yeah, because as we said before, it's just like a child murderer just seems so outlandish. That's not, you know, in the average Joe's mind, that's not what a 10-year-old does. So,
exactly.
Yeah, geez.
So for her crimes, Mary faced 2 counts of manslaughter on the grounds of diminished responsibility. The defense argued she was deeply disturbed and shaped by her horrific childhood. The abuse and neglect and suffering traumatized her immensely. 4 different psychiatrists evaluated her and determined she was dealing with a psychopathic personality disorder, which is a psychological condition characterized by egotistical, self-centered, impulsive, and exploitative behaviors, alongside a notable lack of remorse and emotional callousness. People that are diagnosed with this disorder can often be very highly dangerous, committing a disproportionate number of violent and aggressive crimes despite making up a small percentage of the overall offender population. So I would say the defense has some valid points in that.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've mentioned it numerous times. Like, it's so freaking sad what happened to her, as well as what she did to those boys.
Yeah.
So I do understand their argument, but at the same time, I think her actions and her choices, like, she still has to be held accountable to those no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, like, we all, at the end of the day, even at 10, murdering's not right. Most 10-year-olds don't murder people because it's not right and they're 10, But I do think there's, like, many factors into why she did what she did, right?
Her perception of what is right and wrong must be completely shifted because obviously what was being done to her was so terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, like, in her world, that was, like, normal.
Mm-hmm.
So her baseline normal is probably way different than the average 10-year-old, right?
Way different. So I can see how...
no idea.
Yeah, and I can see how then it would be manslaughter with diminished responsibility because she was virtually created by her circumstances, Like,
totally.
If she had a healthy home, healthy, loving home, she might have just been an average 10-year-old and this would have never happened, right?
Yeah, totally. So there's that side of it. But obviously the prosecution has to focus on something different because they're trying to find a guilty verdict. And they focus on her behavior, her lack of remorse, her taunting notes, and her disturbing fascination with the murders. So, yeah, just to sum up, I do think it's a very sad scenario because when you murder someone, you absolutely have to be held accountable. But if not for her life, I don't know that she would have. Like you said, she was created.
Mm-hmm.
Her circumstance created her to be a monster. And it's just so sad.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of it being sad for Mary and especially sad for Brian and Martin and their families, Norma Bell was also a person who was kind of like along for the ride, but maybe not just as disturbed as Mary.
Yeah.
Because she was also tried. And she was accused of being an accomplice. So her role appeared far less active than Mary's, but she was still tried. And her whole life was different as a result of being in contact and being friends with Mary.
Yeah, and I think it just shows, like, the company you keep, right? What can happen, good or bad.
That's right. So on December 17th, the verdict officially came in, and Mary Bell was found guilty of manslaughter on the grounds of diminished responsibility. Justice Cusack, the presiding judge, described her as a very grave risk to other children. She was sentenced to be detained for an indefinite term, meaning she'd remain locked up until deemed safe to release. Norma Bell? She was acquitted of all charges and walked free. As Mary's consequence, she was sent to various secure facilities and later to a young offenders institution. And those who worked with her described her as detached, emotionless, never fully grasping the enormity of what she'd done. But in 1980, after 12 years in custody, Mary Bell was released at the age of 23. And upon her release, Mary was granted a new identity and lifelong anonymity. Oh my God. Anonymity. Lord almighty, that word is shite. Anyways, she was granted anonymity to protect her from vigilante attacks. This order was later extended to protect her daughter and even her granddaughter. Since then, she's lived quietly under various pseudonyms, moving whenever her identity risks being exposed. And in 1998, when her daughter was born, she successfully fought for court protection to keep her child's life private. So very little is known about Mary Bell now.
Mm-hmm.
She's believed to live somewhere in the UK, still under a protected identity. She's spoken only rarely, most notably in interviews for the book Cries Unheard by journalist Gita Sereni, where she discussed her childhood and crimes. Mary Bell remains one of Britain's most infamous child killers. Her case obviously raises pretty haunting questions, like, can a child truly understand the weight of murder? Was Mary born evil, or was she made that way by the unimaginable abuse she endured? I say the latter. Mm-hmm. What about you, Becky? I already know where you stand on it. You're with me.
Myself as well.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's born evil.
I'm with you.
I really don't. I don't think anyone's born evil. Do you? I feel like this is like a philosophical question.
Oh man, that is tough. I mean, I'm going to say no because I don't have any examples that could say, yes, this person must have been born evil. So I guess I would have to say no. No one is born evil. They are shaped and molded to be evil. Maybe that's where I'll go. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what do you guys think? You're welcome to disagree with us and provide valid arguments as to why you think people could potentially be born evil. I'd be interested to hear them. But either way, this case does raise those questions for one to think about.
Yeah. You know what? I do have to say, most of the time when we have cases and we're like, oh, they got out of prison, we're normally like so outraged and be like, that wasn't justice. They didn't get long enough. But I think this is one of few circumstances where I'm sitting here being like, in order to get out, she was deemed to not be a danger. And so I hope that her time within the justice system, that she was able to get the help she needed and heal from all that bullshit her mom made her go through. Like,
Totally.
I hope that she was able to live a really good, fulfilling life afterwards, despite her crimes, because at the end of the day, she was a child. Mm-hmm. It's not the same as some like even 20-year-old, 18, 20-year-old doing something horrific, right? Like, I do think that she deserved a second chance at life, and I hope she's really making the most of that.
Like, I'm happy that she paid a price mm-hmm. and had to be basically incarcerated for some time, because I just think that's right. And I also think it was probably the best thing for her, especially mm-hmm. now that we know she was released from prison. But just the parallel from what she experienced to what she enacted and to other people, it really does show you that like her actions were probably a cause of her experiences, like sure. directly related. So it's like, I feel like in that scenario, she might be the best like candidate for potential rehabilitation. Mm-hmm. Because if you input different good things into her, maybe she will learn a better way.
Yeah, she's young enough to really be molded.
And be impressionable, right? So.
Yeah. Now, what I would be curious to know is how Brian and Martin's parents feel about this.
Yeah.
Because I could imagine as like us true crime podcasters, we can sit back a bit and be like, okay, she was a young child, justice was served, she's rehabilitated. But at the end of the day, her actions still took away two bright lights in this world and uprooted two families with like the most horrific thing that could happen. So if I put myself in a parent's shoe, would I be able to find that forgiveness and be okay with her being able to go and live a healthy, productive
have
life?
Children of her own, right?
Yeah. Like how I would be curious to know how they feel, because that one would be hard. We're not in that circumstance. So we can say, oh, I would forgive. She was a child at the end of the day. I hope she can live a good life going forward and heal from her wounds. But she also took the life of my child. So would I just be filled with resentment? I don't know.
Yeah, we have the perspective of just being able to look at this logically, devoid of emotional compromise. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we definitely have a different perspective, and I would be interested.
So if either of Brian or Martin's parents are listening, which I don't see that they would, but if they are, get in touch with us. Let us know. Let us know how you're feeling.
Yeah, we're sorry for your loss.
Yeah, definitely tragic all around.
Although I would say they'd be pretty old at this point.
I mean, considering Mary was born in the 50s. Yes. You are right, Beth. Yeah. So, I'm sorry if that was cold to request that. I did not correlate the years.
I'm sorry.
No,
I shouldn't
good to say
laugh
something.
at you, but
I'm normally on top of that stuff. That's normally you that says stuff like that. My bad.
So true. But either way,
I would be curious to know what the family thought.
Yeah.
So, well, Bev, that was super heavy. It's always hard to talk about children.
I am not laughing at that, by the way. I'm sorry I laughed. That was out of pocket. But yes, it is always hard to talk about children.
Yeah.
And it was a tough case to listen to.
Yeah. But again, we've said this, treat your children right, and you will most likely not have a murdering child on your hand.
That's right.
Most
likely. Teach them right from wrong, y'all.
Yeah.
Teach them right from wrong.
Don't abuse them. Don't do bad things.
Well, Becky, thanks for listening.
Thanks for sharing.
And just your weekly reminder to download our weekly episodes, follow us on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever streaming platform you listen to us on, and give us a follow on our social medias. You can find us at Luminol on the Wall. Can't wait till next week.